Wait. You know what we should have done? I mean, we could still say welcome.
Oh, okay.
You know what we should have done?
What?
Don't be polite to men who creep you out. Don't be polite to men who creep you out. Don't be polite to them. It's not your job
to comfort them. Don't be polite to men who creep you out.
God damn!
Oh, man.
My hands hurt from clapping so much.
Yeah, mine are kind of stinging.
Yeah. We need to prepare those.
Do you remember the dare clap?
I did something weird at the end.
You did.
But I feel like we should just learn new claps for each new episode.
Great idea.
That every
we could
time.
stomp the yard eventually.
Oh my God. We'll be like in step.
Yeah. Do you
I like
remember
it.
fucking the step group at school?
Yeah, I
You
do.
were really good. I was so impressed. Every
I
time.
know. I was like, damn, I want to be their friends.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of rhythm.
No. Did you just see what happened here?
Yes,
I don't know
did.
if you're aware, but it didn't go smoothly. It was not beautiful.
Oh, I felt like it was.
Yes. We'll tell ourselves that so that we
Yeah.
feel good about our lives.
Thank you.
You're
Hey,
welcome.
Stace.
Hey,
Give me
Erin.
your goddamn.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 123.
1, 2, 3.
Ooh. It's easy as
1, 2, 3.
as simple as
Do, re, mi.
ABC. 1, 2, 3. You and me. Yeah. Shit. It's
I
already
don't
a
know
shit
words.
show. It's going to be great. It's going to be so great. I'm so glad you guys are here.
Might have had too much coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. Am I yelling into the microphone? I might be.
It's in my ear holes.
It's the only mode I have.
Yeah.
Okay. So you wanted to know my goddamn?
I would like to, yes.
Well, I am adulting very hard recently, and I did possibly the most adult thing in my life.
What did you do?
I bought an appliance package.
An appliance package? What the fuck does that mean?
I mean, like, I bought a new fridge, a new dishwasher, a new stove, and a new microwave.
Well,
Bitch, I'm
hot
rich.
damn. Did you, like, go down the fucking aisle at Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever, and you're like, I would like this kitchen?
Nope, because I am living the goddamn QVC life. I went on Costco.com and I was like, this one. I don't even know if everything's going to fit, but I hit fucking purchase, and Lee was like, oh my God, but what about this? And I was like, too late. It's already done.
Too late.
I bought that shit.
That's exciting. Did you get a Bosch?
No,
Oh,
they didn't
son
have
of a bitch.
Bosch.
Well, that's because it's Costco.
Yeah. I mean, we keep saying, like, oh, every weekend, let's go look at Home Depot and Lowe's for some shit. Meanwhile, my fridge is leaking water all over the goddamn place.
Oh, no.
My dishwasher, the little flappy that holds the soap, doesn't even stay flappy shut anymore. So you just have to chuck the soap in there when you start the dishwasher. And you're like, I'm pretty sure it's cleaning it. Don't really know. Who wants to use my cups? Enjoy the coffee. Thanks for the COVID.
Son of a bitch.
And then the microwave, when I use it, it smells like burning electricity. And I'm like, that's probably not correct. And then the stove works perfectly because whoever the fuck lived in my house before me did not use the stove.
Oh.
Actually, it was broken. And then we had like homeowners, whatever, where the warranty where they'll come out and fix anything for you. And
Yeah.
they came out and fixed my stove. So everything has to go. That thing is, they're all fucking ancient. Like everything in my house is very old because it was renovated in like 98.
Yeah.
So-
I need a new stove. I feel you. I'm jealous.
Your stove is literally the original stove with the house.
Yeah.
Like the built-in stove top. That was like fancy as fuck at the time. And now you're like, but where did that burner go? And you're like, that's just my trash hole.
That's just a hole in the fucking stove.
I remember you literally, that little square hole, you just like brushing the crumbs in there.
Oh, yeah. My dad would get so mad at me.
And you were like, that's just where the trash goes. And I was like, I don't.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be. But I was a shithead. So my dad would be like, wipe off the fucking counter when you're done. And I'd be like, guess where all your shit's going in this goddamn trash hole.
Is that just like under the cabinet or is it just a
No.
little cubby?
No, it just stays right there. There's like a fucking, just goes down to nothing. It's supposed to be the vent because there's no hood. So then it's all supposed to suck into there. But then the vent is broken because it's fucking broken as hell.
Everything is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon's mom came over and was like gonna cook something and saw the tile there and lifted it off and was like, oh, there's a fucking hole here. And I'm so accustomed to it that I'm just like, yeah, it's a fucking stove hole. Like not realizing that that's not normal.
I love that you guys just put like a tile over it. Like, that's so no
ridiculous.
crumbs fall down there.
It's mostly so that you can put a spoon on it, and people will be like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's my fucking spoon tile, right?"
But really, it's covering the stove hole.
yeah. Just be careful to put the tile down correctly, otherwise it'll fucking spiral into there. Oh god damn it!
Oh,
Yeah, Brandon wants a new stove really bad, and I'm like, "Why? This one's perfectly fine."
Oh, God, you are your dad.
I am totally my dad.
You should do it. It's really fun. Although, to be fair, I didn't get really fancy. I literally just went on Costco. So, I mean,
Yeah.
everything in my house will just be like standard, but it'll be newer and work.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, so give me your goddamn Aaron.
All right. Well, today I was at Sevo with Brandon, and he went inside to buy me
7-Eleven.
Yeah, 7-Eleven, a convenience store, fucking gas station / convenience store place.
Uh-huh.
And I was waiting in my car, and Brandon was in his car. There's reasons. I don't want to get into it because it's not exciting.
They're getting a divorce.
Over the Rockstar energy drink. And he came out and he brought me my Rockstar, and I was like, thanks so much. And I put it in the fucking cup holder, and I was like, this is where I go. And then I was going to leave the parking lot, and I turned to look like, I don't know, to the car beside me to be like, make sure they're not also leaving at the same time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a lady in there who was like aggressively trying to wave me down.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, fuck, what did I do? And
Did I leave the baby on top of the car?
right? Like, oh, my children are inside the car. Like, maybe she, and for whatever reason, I was like, she probably saw my kid and thought it was cute.
That's why she's frantically waving at me.
Yeah. And so I rolled down my window, like, uh-oh, she wants to talk to me. She was like doing one of these, like, hey, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I rolled down my window, and she goes, I saw your hair, and
Oh.
it's so pretty. And I was like, thank you. Like, thank you so much. And it made me so happy inside. And she's like, I looked over and it was pink. And I was like, fuck yeah, it was.
It's still pink.
And then I'm awkward as fuck and don't know what to do. So then I just literally like said thank you and was like excited and like still looking at her smiling like, you're so sweet, and just started rolling up the window.
We're done here.
Yeah, like, okay, anyway, bye. And then she's like, told me to have a happy new year. She like almost said it like, oh my God, I almost forgot, like, happy new year. And I was like, yeah.
Do you think she was like, I just had an awkward encounter with a stranger and I totally geeked out?
Oh,
And
100%. She was probably like, I didn't know how to end it, so I said happy new year.
Oh my God. Okay,
It made me
sidebar.
happy though.
Side note, I had that legit happen to me today. Somebody in my life is going through a rough time and they have some family passing, and I was like, have a good day. As I left. And I
Anyway,
was
forget
like,
about all this other shit that's going on. Have a good day.
and I just stopped and I was like, that was literally the worst thing I could have said. And the person was like, yeah, it just comes out. And I'm like, I'm going to go. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God. It's like when you go to the movies and you're like, enjoy your movie. And you're like,
Yeah.
fuck, you work here. Take my ticket. Enjoy ticket tearing. I don't know what to say. I'm going to go.
Enjoy ticket tearing. I'm going to say that next time when we're allowed back in movies. Enjoy ticket tearing.
I bet you're the best at it.
Yeah, that's the best tear I've ever seen. You don't even fold it first. You just went for it.
Right on the perforation.
You can do it.
Perforation.
Perfs. Yeah, so I got a little ego boost this morning, and I was happy about it. And also slightly awkward fucking, I don't know. It's like we don't know how to be social anymore as
No.
people. And so
Oh
we
my
were both
God.
like, haha, that's weird.
Bye. I'm glad we could have been friends in another life.
Yeah. Basically.
Such a shame.
If I was
Rolling
allowed
out the
outside
window.
of this car, I'd be your friend. Bye.
Oh my God, that's funny. Shit, man. COVID has done terrible things to my anxiety.
Oh my God. It's going to be weird when we're like actually allowed to do stuff again. I gave a guy finger guns the other day instead of like a handshake. This is at work.
It's so embarrassing. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask you, did you for half a second while you were rolling down your window think, fuck, does she know me from the podcast?
I did not. It wasn't until after when I was driving away that I was like, I should be more aware. And I thought of that scenario in my
Of my
head of what if she
surroundings.
was like, are you Aaron? And I'd be like, no.
Everybody's going to know it's you, just for
Certainly
the
not.
record. If anybody ever recognizes you. I have not been recognized in the wild, but
Neither have I, thank God.
I mean, we're not that important to be recognized. But
we're pretty important people.
we have had people in our lives that we don't know, like wearing our shit, and some rando people are like, hey.
Yeah, but I
fucking-
feel like as long as we don't wear our podcast out, that no one will know.
Yeah. I mean, except for now we're doing video, so they might know. There's that. And they could just like look at the website and know what it looked like.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like we also just look like two basic bitches.
True. And then we're like, finger guns. And they're like, is that Aaron?
So if you see someone doing some awkward finger guns, you'll know.
Oh my God, I dread that day. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, so great, goddamn.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome.
I would love to hear about some murder if you have some in store.
I mean, I can see what I can whip up.
Oh. See what you go whip up.
Okay, this week I'm going to tell you about Gary Hind. I knew this was going to happen.
Uh-huh.
You know when like your dyslexia brain is like, put all the words together. Gary Heidnik. Yeah,
Okay.
Heidnik. Okay, let me say it more confidently.
Yeah, you got it.
Gary Heidnik.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell me about Gary.
This is actually a listener suggestion from an Instagram listener, which I did not get the approval to say her name, but I'm going to say it. Sorry, Cheyenne. Thanks for the suggestion.
I didn't get the approval to say the one from last week, but I did it anyway.
And maybe Cheyenne's not even her real name.
Yeah.
It's her alias.
Maybe it's her alias, yeah.
Her middle name.
She's like, I'm not shy.
I don't even know if it's a girl.
I'm extroverted, Anne.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Okay. So Gary, he was born on November 22nd, 1943. And he...
That's someone else's birthday. 19, not the year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is.
He's stupid.
So stupid. That's my child. Okay, anyway, so he was raised in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio.
He had a younger brother named Terry, and when he was about 3 years old, his parents divorced.
Uh-huh.
He lived with his mom for a few years and ultimately ended up in the care of his father. Don't know why or how or whatever, but for whatever reason, he goes and lives with his father.
Okay.
His whole family was described as weird and a little bit messed up
Okay.
by a member of the family themselves. Like one of the nieces or nephews or some shit comes forward and is like, hey, our family is fucking weird.
Okay. Well, I
Turn-
mean, everybody has that, you know.
I would say that about my family.
Yeah. I wouldn't. My family's pretty great.
Your family's pretty weird.
I'd say it about your family. I wouldn't say it about my
We're
family.
all weird.
You're right. You're right.
Okay, so it turns out that his father used to beat Gary and his brother all the time for like minor infractions. I hate that I just said that word. Several times Gary was beat with wooden toys because he would like pee his pants on accident.
Oh, no.
And-
the fucking worst thing you can do if a kid accidentally pees their pants is beat them. I don't know that for a fact, but I feel like it's a common theme in our goddamn podcast.
I know, right? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Like, take it easy, bro.
Chill. But I guess, again, like in my last story, his dad used to make him hang his dirty sheets in the window facing his neighbor's home, like as a way to humiliate him. So it's not like he washed them and then hung them. It was like, hang up your dirty sheets so everybody could see what you have done.
That's fucked up.
Super fucked up. In school, Gary was actually really smart, but he was definitely an odd kid. He would always get made fun of for the shape of his head.
Did he have a flat head?
Well, here's the thing. Good question. From like not being picked up as a baby. Did you guys know this shit, for the record, that like you can get a flat head? You can give your baby a flat head by not like picking them up and rolling them over. I didn't even know this was a thing, and I probably have a flat head. Anyway, okay, so he had an oddly shaped head, which, by the way, I looked at pictures and it just looked like long, but it was just like front on. So it wasn't like I got to see a skull scan or anything crazy, you know? But
They didn't give you a 360 view.
no, not at all. But I guess allegedly this like odd shape of his head resulted from a childhood fall. So, I mean, a little foreshadowing. Maybe he bumped his head one too many times as a kid.
Hit that aggro spot.
Loosened up some bits, yeah. In the 1960s, he joined the Army, and they trained him to be a medic. He had actually wanted to be some other shit in the Army, I don't know what, but turns out that the Army was like, hey, guess what? We need a medic, so that's what they did. And they stationed him in Germany, and it turns out that he really didn't like it there. So to get out of the Army, he started to purposely disobey orders.
Oh.
He also was saying that he had severe headaches and these dizzy spells and shit. And so he kept seeing like being hospitalized and all this crap. And they diagnosed him with mental illnesses. They didn't straight up say schizophrenia, but they were like schizophrenia.
Okay.
Side note, some people in his life later claim that he was faking all of this to get out of the army. Like he was faking a mental illness to get out. And I think I mentioned it later. Yeah, his best friend, Gary's best friend, actually said that Gary admitted to him himself that while he was in the army in Germany, I guess they had given him LSD or some shit, and it caused him to have this nervous breakdown. And when he came out of it, he was like, I don't want to be in the army anymore. I'm going to fake this mental illness. So he basically like admitted to faking the mental illness.
To his friend.
To his friend. Yeah, true. So I don't really know. And again, this is in the like fucking 50s or 60s or whatever, probably like late 50s.
Okay.
And so I don't know how easy it is to fake a mental illness in those days, but it sounds a little easier. I don't really know. I don't know the deets.
Yeah, they don't have the same diagnostics. They're just like, he said he sees stuff or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, he gets hospitalized a lot, and either way, whatever, fucking, if he was faking it or not, it worked, and he gets discharged with 100% disability.
Wow, okay.
Right? And so now he's living the high life.
Yeah, good for him.
Mm-hmm. There were records of him actually being hospitalized 22 times.
God damn. That's a lot of times.
Yeah, so he was like really laying it on heavy if he was faking it.
Yeah. Also hospitalized? Like not just went to the hospital, but like fucking...
I don't know.
All right.
It said hospitalized.
All right.
I wasn't like, could you please give me your definition?
But was he admitted?
How many stays did he have?
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, he gets 100% disability. And at this point, he's living in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Flip.
Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. He became... Good job.
Good job. Thank you for being there for me.
Good job. Heal.
Sit, boo, sit.
God damn it. So he becomes a licensed practical nurse, and he worked at the VA, but he eventually gets fired because he just fucking never showed up for work half the time, and he was rude to patients.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Turns out that's not what they look for in a
You gotta
nurse.
be there.
Damn it. During this time frame, Gary's life actually starts to take a little bit of a turn, and he attempts committing suicide.
Ooh.
13 times.
Jesus.
It turns out that his brother also had attempted suicide several times. So,
Ooh.
I'm gonna guess that some childhood issues
Yeah.
caused some problems.
A little bit of family history, huh?
Mm-hmm. In 1970, his mother, who had bone cancer at the time, and she was also an alcoholic, she went down into her basement, and then she committed suicide by drinking mercuric chloride, which is basically chlorine and mercury. That's a hard word to say sometimes.
Fuck.
Yeah. And
Where do you get that? Pool chemicals?
dude, I don't even know.
Break a bunch of thermometers open?
I have no idea. I guess it used to like treat syphilis or whatever, and then they were like, oh, it actually fucking kills you, so you probably shouldn't take this anymore. Like that was the quick little Google search I did.
Oh, all right.
But it ain't good for you, and that's what she did to commit suicide. So pretty sure this fucks Gary up even a little bit more.
I think it would.
Yeah.
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 Sounds logical.
About a year after his mother's death, he decides that he's going to create a religion.
Oh.
Not because he actually believes in this fucking made-up religious belief that he comes up with, but because he wants a tax break.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's like, I'm going to become my own church.
Exactly. So
Perfect.
he creates the United Church of the Ministers of God and becomes Bishop Heidnik.
Okay. Perfect.
Great idea. Nothing bad comes from these ideas. Nothing bad.
No way that's going to go wrong.
When he first started, he had about like 5 followers. But in 1986, his church was making a shit ton of money and thriving.
What?
We're not in the 1986s. I just want to let you know that from the time that he first started all the way to like 1986, which is kind of like the end of my story that I'll get to in a minute, he makes a fuck ton of money with his church.
Okay.
He would take the money from the church and like the parishioners or whatever, and he, along with the checks from the Army and Social Security, and he would invest in stocks and would get his money back, or he would lose it all. Like, he went from varying degrees of wealth, like super rich, driving around in fancy ass cars, to like living on the streets because he didn't have 2 nickels to rub together to make a dime.
Okay.
But eventually, like, he had a huge following and made a shit ton of money.
Okay. I mean, I guess good for him.
I guess. No, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
We don't like him, just so you know.
Feel like the last cult you did, they like ripped out a chick's ovaries, so I'm kind of bracing for that.
You should brace for impact. Lots of triggers. Maybe not nearly as gnarly as that one, though, because that was fucking intense.
Good.
So, Gary would hold these like church services on Sundays. And like I said, quite a few people would come. Many of his patrons often suffered from mental illnesses, and a majority of them happened to be black. An article said that he actually preferred black women, like sexually, and so that perhaps they were targeted. One of his followers was a black woman by the name of Anjanette. I don't have her last name. Anjanette.
Okay.
And Gary actually ended up having a daughter with her.
Oh.
The daughter was placed in foster care as soon as she was born. And he just kind of like took her on as his like religious wife. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was like they weren't like actually married by like the state or anything, but he was just like, you are one of my many wives that I will have and I will bed. Like this is what his religion was about, was basically like
taking on wives.
Yeah, taking on wives and having sex.
Okay.
And like I said,
that's the religion that most men would create.
Right. And like I said, a lot of people suffered from mental illness, so they wouldn't recognize when they were being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And so like he would promise all these like great and fun and wonderful things and basically like company and stuff. And so his parishioners would be like excited or feel special that like, oh, he chose me to be his wife, that kind of stuff. Even without like a mental illness, it's like, oh my God, he's noticing me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has a baby with Anjanette. It goes to foster care immediately. Anjanette has a sister who is also like had mental disabilities, and she was in a mental institution.
Oh.
And one day the couple went to visit her sister, and they basically kidnapped her from this institution.
You can just do that?
I didn't know that. I guess they were like signing her out for a day trip or whatever. And then they were like, psych, never coming back. And when the institution was like, hey, we want her back, and they came around looking for her, they go to Gary's house, and they found out that Gary had been keeping her locked up in a storage bin in his fucking basement.
Oh, what the fuck?
And he was raping her the whole time. Yeah, yeah, this guy's a dick.
What kind of storage bin?
I don't know.
Like a tote?
So one said storage bin, another said storage locker in a basement.
No, shouldn't do that.
No, you shouldn't. But I still don't like if it's a room. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
No, shouldn't do that.
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
I checked my mental library and it says no.
Yeah, and my mental Rolodex says you shouldn't do that.
Not a good idea. So they take Anjanette's sister back in and they examine her, and they found that she had also been sodomized and that she had contracted gonorrhea from Gary.
Ew, Gary's dirty.
I read this and all I could sing was Gary gonorrhea, Gary gonorrhea. Just for you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Gary was like fucking caught, right? They were like, hey, yo, bitch, you can't do that shit.
Yeah.
And so he was charged with kidnapping, rape, unlawful restraint, false imprisonment, involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, and interfering with the custody of a committed person.
Yeah.
And Gary was sent to prison.
Good. Fuck that guy.
Right? So he goes to prison and
get out of here, Gary Gonorrhea.
Yeah, Gary Gonorrhea, Gary Gonorrhea. Gary, Indiana. Why? Why does that live in my head?
I don't know.
Okay. So he goes to prison, right? He appeals, and I guess he fucking wins because they're like, okay, you don't have to be in prison, but you have to go to a mental institution. And when you're found to be of sound mind, we will let you out. And so that takes about 3 years. And they were like, your mind is sound. And in April of 1983, they release him.
They're like, you're fine. This is fine. Go back to your church.
Yeah, go do your thing, Bishop Heidnick.
Gary Gonorrhea.
Whoa, Gary Gonorrhea. Bishop Gary Gonorrhea.
Mm-hmm.
What a name. A name for the books. All righty. Now, Gary gets out of fucking the mental institution or whatever the hell it is he's in, right?
Yeah.
Not prison. And he goes looking for Anjanette, and she's nowhere to be found, obviously. And so he's like, well, son of a bitch, I need me a wife. And he gets him a mail order bride from the Philippines.
Oh.
This happens to be a woman by the name of Betty.
Okay.
Betty fucking meets Gary, gets pregnant with, quote, little Gary.
Ew.
And yeah.
Ew.
And as you can imagine, it's a super happy marriage. Psych.
Sounds like it. Sounds like a real way to, fucking connect.
Yeah, right? Like, it was love at first sight.
Yeah. Isn't that a show?
It is. 90 Day Fiancé. I watch that shit all the goddamn time. It's not so much mail order brides, though. But anyway, so he starts actually beating on her, even though she's fucking pregnant, right?
Dick.
Asshole. And so she confides in a neighbor that he's abusing her and all this other shit. And the neighbor's like, if he's not going to stop hitting you when you're pregnant, like, you need to get the fuck out, which is a weird standard, but I'll take it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Well, I mean, like, that's the one time where you're supposed to be, like, extra protective and shit.
Yeah. Like, keep her safe. Let's get your baby in there.
Yeah.
But the neighbor's like, hey, get out of this relationship. And Betty listens. So in 1986, she left his ass. And she was like, later, loser, I'm out of here. And she actually files, charges against him.
Oh.
And he's arrested for spousal rape. Because he would, rape her and shit. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. So he gets arrested, but I'm not sure how long he spends in prison or jail or whatever for that one, because after Betty left, the neighbors start to notice that a lot of women are coming and going from Gary's house, and they look like sex workers.
Oh, no.
I don't know what a sex worker looks like. Psych. Yes, I do. I live in San Diego. Okay.
I'm too sheltered for that.
Okay. I threw in here a random side note that it turns out that Gary had actually had a third child with another woman named Gail, but I'm not quite sure where this relationship came about or whatever, but just so you know, he had 3 kids.
Okay.
Anyways, so one night, a neighbor witnesses Gary throw one of the suspected sex workers out of his home. Like, they're just enjoying their life, and all of a sudden they're like, hold the fuck up, something crazy's going on at Gary's house. And this woman comes flying out of the house like she was thrown out.
Oh, shit.
She butt naked.
Oh.
Totally naked. And then she starts banging on the door and yelling and hollering at Gary.
Like, to go back inside?
Yeah.
Because all your clothes are inside.
Probably, yeah. Like, give me all my fucking shit, you asshole.
Yeah.
And so the neighbor calls the police, and the police come, and they're like, yo, Gary, what the fuck is going on? And he opens the door and gives the lady her clothes back. Like, here you go.
Yeah. Get her out of my hair.
Yeah, whatever, right? And so that's what the neighbor witnesses. Like, that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
I don't know legally what happened, or if the cops were like, dude, Gary, give her clothes back.
Yeah.
And then he did, and they were like, okay, don't do that shit again.
She just wants her shit and to go home.
Yeah. What the fuck, man? You can't take people's clothes. So around this time, Gary's friends say that he starts doing like really weird things, like wearing heavy coats in the middle of August, like, and it's hot and everything.
Okay.
And then he starts getting super aggro for no reason. Like, one time, a car kept parking in front of his house, and he was mad about it. And so he was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to shoot out the windows with a BB gun. And so he did that, but they kept parking in front of his house. So he was like, better idea, I'm going to put sugar in the gas tank. And he put some sugar in there, and the car would drive away and always come back and park. Like, it didn't stop running. So he put 20 pounds of sugar in the tank, and the car kept running, and he was fucking pissed.
First of all,
Yeah.
that's
weird.
a great advertisement for that car.
Right? Like, ain't nothing going to stop this.
Yeah. But also, if someone shot out my windows, I might not park there. Like, if I knew why,
Yeah.
if I knew that it was like fucking crazy Gary Gonorrhea over there, I'd be like, all right, I guess I'll park
Bishop.
on this side of the street.
Bishop Gary Gonorrhea.
Bishop Gary Gonorrhea.
Exactly. Get it right. Yeah, I wonder if like the BB shattered the glass and so they didn't realize it was shot up by a BB and so they thought somebody just broke into it. But either way, I would not park there also.
Yeah.
I have no idea whose car it was. I don't know why I said it like I would know, even if you were like, oh, that's Tom's. I wonder whose car that was.
Was it someone who lived there? Or...
I mean, it must have been.
Yeah.
They were there all the time. Anyway, so Gary's kind of a dick.
Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm. On November 25th, 1986, a sex worker by the name of Josefina Riviera was working the streets
Sexually.
when Gary pulled up in his Coupe de Ville.
Ooh, baby. Yeah,
Cadillac
Coupe
Coupe de Ville, yeah.
God damn.
And he hired her for $20.
First of all,
Yeah.
that was cheap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like 86, so that's maybe like 40. I don't really know inflation.
Still, I don't know inflation. If you doubled it, that's still fucking cheap.
Well, you don't know what they're going to do for that $20.
I feel like there's nothing.
Like a flash of the titties.
Oh, okay. Maybe. One. You don't get both for that.
You'd make a good prostitute. I'm sorry, sex worker.
Yeah.
Stingy.
Yeah. You be on the streets all night, girl. I'll stand next to you and I'll be like, because they're smaller, half the price. Steal all your Johns.
Or people would be like, I mean,
It's worth it.
Might be worth it. Like, what are
I
those?
could just look at myself in the mirror and get the same.
Fucking magic tits, and I'll be like, you won't know until you pay.
My nipples are flavored like beer.
40 for one, 60 for both.
Oh, that's a pretty good deal.
Right?
It's like half off on the second.
Yeah. It's almost like a BOGO.
Almost. Oh my God. Okay. So he picks up Josephina for $20, right?
Okay.
He drives her back to his house and they did the deed, which was sex. It was $20 for sex.
Okay. So
I just wanted to hear your take on it.
back to my original fucking statement. That is not enough. Ladies,
Agreed.
know your worth.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. So, they're all done, right? And she's getting dressed and she bends down to pick up her clothes and he comes from behind her and starts choking her until she passes out.
Oh.
Super trigger warning for the rest of my goddamn story.
Okay. Fuck, that sucks.
Yeah. When she came to, he had her cuffed on the bed and she starts screaming, right? Like, what the fuck
Yeah,
is
I don't
happening
like
here?
this.
Yeah, not today. And he basically told her to shut up or he was going to choke her again. So that she was like, all right, I'll be fucking quiet because I don't
Want to be choked again?
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to do to me. And he led her down to his basement. And in the basement,
Never go to a second location. It's the basement counts.
oh, this basement counts. So in the basement, he had dug a huge hole. And in the corner of the basement, he had all the bags of dirt from the hole that he had dug, like just piled up. He used muffler clamps to shackle her legs. I don't even know what those are.
I don't either.
But he had like car parts, and that's what he was using to like fucking tie her ass up. And he also put gravy. He poured gravy all over him. No, he put crazy glue over the bolts so that she couldn't like untwist them.
Okay.
Yeah. He then told her that he was going to get her pregnant and take the baby to raise on his own. And then he threw her in the hole.
That is a long commitment.
Why do you want kids? You have 3 of them. Well, technically, maybe 2. I don't know. You
What
actually
are you gonna
just
do with them?
I have no idea. Maybe like fucking carry on his church tradition. I don't know.
Legacy?
I have no idea. He kept trying to put like cardboard over her head in the hole, but I guess the hole wasn't like deep enough, so like he couldn't get the cardboard to stay. I don't really know. This is how the article explained it, but
Like she just kept popping up.
yeah, like I'm here, or maybe it wasn't deep enough, so even if she was like laying down or something, it still was like popping up. But eventually, he gets the cardboard to stay, and she starts screaming because it's really hard to breathe because it's like cutting off her oxygen, and so he pulls her out by the hair and he beats her with a stick, and then throws her back in the hole for the entire day.
I don't think that the Church of Many Gods or whatever it is that he's serving would approve of this treatment.
Well, he fucking invented it, so evidently.
yeah, but he's still like...
Yeah, I know. It's awful. Oh, he's a dick. Okay, so Josephina's in the hole, right?
Yeah.
And she starts to hear this noise after a while. She's been in there for a day, so I'm sure she's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So she hears this sound, and it's the sound of Gary bringing down another woman by the name of Sandy into the basement.
Okay.
Now, Sandy, as it turns out, was a parishioner of Gary's church, and she was also diagnosed with some mental disabilities. I don't really know all the details.
Okay.
And she happened to be telling her sister that Bishop Gary of the church was going to be taking her and a few friends on what he had called the, quote, great adventure.
No.
And yeah. And also, I don't know if this is part of the Great Adventure. I don't know what the Great Adventure is. But it also mentioned that he was going to take her to McDonald's to have dinner. And she was like super excited.
Well, listen.
Girl's got a dream. I
Get that
fucking
Happy Meal.
We were legit just talking about this before we started recording, how bad we went Taco Bell and shit. I would take McDonald's.
I know.
Okay, so anyway, so she's really excited, whatever, right? And
Yeah.
that's what her sister had heard, like, okay, whatever this fucking great adventure is. So one day, Sandy needs to go to the store because she has to pick up some medicine. And she leaves, but she never comes home.
Okay. Is that when she went in the hole?
Well, yeah, that's basically when she went in the hole. So her family doesn't know this, right?
Yeah.
So they call the cops, and the cops are like, yeah, she's 25 years old. She can go missing if she wants.
I fucking hate that shit, man.
I know.
I get that, like, you're an adult, you don't have to call your mom and stuff, but, like, a family knows if they're...
you're missing.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Yeah, I know.
And also, just fucking tell me that they're alive.
Right?
I don't care. They don't have to call. They don't have to come home. They don't have to do any of those things. But,
Just
like,
verify.
I feel like the family should have some kind of say in being like, yeah, they're alive.
Well, and also the family knows, like, this isn't like her. She would never do that. You know?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
family knows they're a fucking person. I
Yeah.
don't feel like it's up to the cop to be like, well, it's fine. You don't fucking know
Right?
them. Just because they're 18 does not mean that they're fucking of sound
Oh,
mind right now.
I don't want to be a dick, but I feel like
body.
the cops fucked up a few times here. Okay, so
Okay.
the police are like, sorry about it, right? And so the family, they go searching for her. And they're like, well, maybe they went on this great adventure to McDonald's or whatever. And so they go and
Hey,
they...
what is that, a Big Mac?
Baby, you treat me so fine.
Ooh, girl.
Ooh, I can get fries. And so they go to McDonald's, and when they get there, they find one of Sandy's really good friends, and they're like, hey, do you know where Sandy could possibly be?
Just hanging out at McDonald's?
Fucking, I guess they love Mickey D's. I have no idea.
Okay.
It's kind of like, hanging out at your spot.
Yeah, it's the local hangout.
I don't really know that for sure. That's just what I assumed. Okay.
Okay.
So, they find her friend, and her friend's like, maybe she's with Gary. And so they give the friend gives the family Gary's number and address.
Yeah.
So now the family goes to Gary's house and they start knocking on the door, and he answers the door and they ask, like, hey, have you seen Sandy? And he's like, nope, haven't seen her.
Definitely not
Sorry
in my
about it.
basement.
Definitely not my basement. She was in the basement. And they were like, okay, that's weird. And they call the cops and they're like, hey, can you please go check in on Gary? Like, she was talking about going on this great adventure with him or whatever. He says he hasn't seen her, but will you just go check? Maybe you can find out some intel.
Yeah, he was being a little sketch back there.
Okay, so now the police show up at Gary's house, right?
Yeah.
And they come and they knock on the door, but Gary doesn't answer. So they leave a note saying, hey, Gary, we'd like to talk to you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the basement, Gary brings down Christmas cards to Sandy. One Christmas card, not multiple, because it was around Christmas time.
Okay.
And he has Sandy write to her parents saying that she's all right.
No.
Like, everything's fine. Don't come looking for me. I'm missing on purpose.
Yeah.
And gives her $20 to put in the card.
Fucking generous.
Like a Christmas gift, yeah. And he shackles her up also and keeps her in the hole in the basement too.
Okay.
So-
Are they in the same hole?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if he just keeps making the hole bigger or...
Company, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of nice.
So, $20 in the card for fucking Christmas. Don't come looking for me.
Generous motherfucker.
So goddamn generous. Puts her in the hole in the basement.
Also, never agree. Never write a fucking note. Or
I know.
if you ever get a note from me that's like, hey, don't worry about it, I'm missing on purpose, fucking read the first letter of every line.
I'll make a poem.
I'm writing you a fucking help me letter. Or like,
you
I don't know, every third letter, I'll underline it or circle it or write it in a different color. It'll be a backwards E instead of a regular E.
Oh,
I'll
I like
make
it. I like it.
fucking
We'll have a
known.
secret word that we have to work in there.
Yes.
Okay.
You will have to do some detective work, though. Don't just read it and be like, okay. Promise.
Deal.
Okay.
I will never write you a letter and say I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If
Never.
we ever move and like write each other letters and be like, everything's pretty cool here. Maybe we
cops
just
will show
moved."
up.
Yeah. Welfare check.
Probably.
She got a Christmas card from you that said everything was fine. I guess that's not okay.
Suspicious. Could you explain yourselves? All right. So Gary then drives all the way to New York to mail this card off so that it would
Okay.
look like that she had run away to New York. So he has committed.
And he lives in Philadelphia?
Mhm.
Okay.
The family gets the letter and they're like, still pretty fucking suspicious.
Yeah, don't like that.
Yeah. So they get a handwriting analysis done on the card and find that it does match. Whoa.
It matches.
That was weird. And they find that it does match her. I can't say the word. I'm sorry.
Your weird accent comes out. Was that transatlantic?
Don't even fucking know where it comes from.
Fargo?
I have no idea. But it doesn't match.
That's better.
And so the police are like, it does match. Sorry, I said doesn't. See if I just say it fast enough, it'll work.
Yeah.
And so the police are like, see, she's missing on purpose. We were right.
Yeah. It's definitely her handwriting. Everything's fine. And they were like, seems a little stressed.
Right? And so her family is still like, no, fuck that shit, but the police aren't doing anything about it. Gary's next victim was Lisa Thomas. He took her out to eat at TGIF, which is...
Thank God it's Friday.
Exactly. Also, just a restaurant here. I don't fucking know if it's outside of the U.S., but it's
like an Applebee's.
It is like an Applebee's. Like, do you want pasta? Do you want mozzarella sticks?
Mm-hmm.
Potato skins?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Hot wings? It's just like fucking basic ass food. Anyway, okay. So he takes her out to eat at a TGIF and invited her to go shopping and said, like, go ahead and spend $50 on whatever the fuck you want at this store.
Ooh, baby.
And so she was like, God damn, it's my special day.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do all that, and he brings her back to his house, and they have some beer, and they have a little sexy time.
Ooh,
and
girl.
then he choked her
God damn
and
it.
brought her down to his basement, where he clamped her ankles also.
Okay.
He would like count the links on the leg chains to make sure that they could be wide enough for him to rape the girls. Yeah. So he was doing some bad things. Meanwhile,
Oh, I hate it.
yeah. Meanwhile, Josephina and Sandy, they're still down in the hole also, right? This whole time.
Yeah.
He rapes them every day and feeds them Pop-Tarts for breakfast. And
not
then
bad.
I knew I wrote that and I was like, Erin's going to be impressed.
Brown sugar cinnamon, or what are we talking here? Does he warm them up first? That's bougie.
I don't know the details on how the food was served, but they got Pop-Tarts for breakfast and rice and hot dogs for dinner. I was like, that is exactly what Erin would cook for me. Like, if we were on a trip and Erin was in charge of cooking, she'd be like, what goes with hot dogs? I know how to cook rice. And I'd be like, I
guess.
I'll eat it.
Well, what would you prefer? I mean, as far as prisoners go, they're living pretty well, aside from all like the rape and stuff.
Oh,
that's for
God,
sure.
yeah, right? Okay. But like,
their meals aren't bad. He could be starving them.
that's just because, well, he kind of does starve them. I mean, they don't get much food. But that's also just because you don't eat food.
Yeah, I have a poverty palate.
Yes, you eat like chocolate all day long, and then you'll eat carne asada fries, and then you just don't ever eat again. Okay, so
Okay, so.
breakfast and dinner.
Okay.
When Lisa was brought down, he started to like alternate between the girls. So some days the girl, like a girl, wouldn't get raped. You know,
A girl?
a girl.
So
Like,
he would still rape two of them?
well, I don't really know the numbers or like what
Was
his
he
schedule
raping-
was.
Was he raping both of Josephina and Sandy every day?
I think so. I don't really know the details, but it was basically like as he got more girls coming in,
They got breaks.
kinda, yeah, which is terrible to say, but like he wasn't like just fucking straight boning sessions all the time.
That's so gross.
Yeah, super gross. So when Christmas comes, he brought down a Chinese food menu. Girl.
Ooh.
And he was like, because it's Christmas, you can order anything off the menu. So in some sick, weird way, it's like he was like rewarding them or taking care of them, quote unquote, you know, in his own mind. Like they're like, I'll trade that for getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, can I go pick it up?
Yeah, I'll get it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Then on New Year's Day, Gary brought the girls out of the hole and introduced a new woman by the name of Debbie.
Debbie.
Debbie!
What's up, Deb?
So Debbie.
Debbie.
Debbie had been living on the streets for some years, and she was kind of one of those women who would go missing, and sadly nobody would really report it or notice, right?
Yeah.
So he shackles Debbie up and throws her in the hole, and she screams all night long. She's like, fuck this shit.
Uh-huh. I'm not okay with this.
Yeah, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going down without a fight.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like
Gary,
her.
yeah, I know.
I like your spirit, Deb.
Yeah, get it, Deb. And so Gary would come down and beat her with a stick.
Fuck.
It turns out he had like 2 sticks. One was just a fucking stick, and another one had like nails in it and shit.
Oh.
And he would, like, when they weren't listening with the one stick, he'd use the nail stick. Yeah. Yeah. But she was like, nope, fuck this shit. And she still kept screaming. So then Gary's like, gotta go get me another woman. And so he meets Jacqueline Askins, who is an 18-year-old sex worker.
Why does he need this many ladies?
I don't fucking know.
Like,
he's like creating.
you don't need any ladies, but also, like, you don't need a fucking harem.
No, exactly. That's exactly what he's creating. And also, his like religious belief, he collected many wives. But
These are all his wives.
These, I don't think they never were explained as wives. They were just like he would just take them.
This
Like
is
they
mine
weren't
now.
even part of the church. They were mainly sex workers. Okay. Except for Sandy. She was part of the church. So he fucking meets up with Jacqueline, right?
Yeah.
He brings her home and they play video games for like an hour or something.
This guy sounds all right.
Yeah. Actually,
Up until the parts where he's a fucking asshole.
right? I guess a lot of his friends and shit were like, I would have never fucking guessed. That's fucking crazy. Like, he seemed pretty normal other than like, he gets a little aggro and he wears sweaters in the summer. But
He
who
shoots out
doesn't?
people's fucking car windows.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so after an hour of video games, he put her in a headlock and choked her.
Oh.
And then he took her down to the basement where she met the 5 other women. So now we have Josephina, Sandy, Debbie, Lisa, and Jacqueline.
Okay.
Do you have all those down?
Got them all down.
Okay, so he chains Jacqueline up just like the other women, and obviously he continues the abuse among all of them.
Every time he goes in to buy fucking muffler clamps or whatever,
Yeah.
the people are like, bruh, what happened to the last pair?
Yeah, what's going on with your mufflers?
Yeah.
Fucking,
Why you need to clamp them down so
why
much?
don't you get a new car?
Yeah. I feel like your problem isn't the muffler clamps. It's
Yeah.
something else that's causing this.
Maybe he bought them in bulk.
Or in different places.
Oh, now you're talking. Now you're talking. Don't pull off that makeup. We got a video on.
I know. I want to.
Start pinching your fucking
I
mascara off.
know.
I guess he would also make the other women beat each other up. Like, whoever could be the most domineering woman in the fucking tribe or whatever would get special treatment from him, aka he might not rape you or he might not beat you or whatever. So then the women were constantly like at each other's throats, like fighting to be the more domineering one, or like trying to be like, no, you do this, you go here, whatever, you know, whatever Gary says to fucking do. Like, they're trying to control each other. So it's like this sick, twisted, like,
Gross.
even the people that you are imprisoned with, you can't even trust.
I hate it.
I fucking
That
hate
sounds
it.
awful. I feel like if they all rose up,
Together,
Yeah.
unite. Right? Now, Josephina, the first woman who was taken down, she understood quickly that if she did everything that Gary demanded of her, and if she started like bossing the other women around and everything, she could gain Gary's trust, sort of like a survival mechanism, you know?
yeah.
And like befriend him. It worked because he slowly started to take her out on outings and stuff, even to meet up with his friends to hang out. Yeah. And one time he was working with a friend to like build a fence or some shit, and they meet up at this gas station, and his friend is like, yo, I don't have any room in my truck for Josephina. Like, we got to go get shit or whatever, and there's no room in here. And Gary was like, oh, it's okay. We can leave her at the gas station and we'll just like come back and get her.
What?
Right? And so,
She was like, deuces.
well, here's the thing. Okay, so at the gas station, there were actually 2 cop cars there, and she was left there alone, and she didn't alert anyone that she was in danger or anything.
Oh my God.
I know. And in one of the articles I was reading, like, it was like a bunch of people's commentary, you know, like people close to the case or whatever. And some
Yeah.
people were like the friend was like, she didn't look like she was held captive or anything or in distress to me. Like, I think that her story is that he did all these horrible things, but she's saying that because she was in on it with him, right? Like, she kind of becomes the domineering woman among everybody else that's
She's
being
the
held
bottom
captive.
bitch.
Yeah, and so he's like, well, I don't think that she was really a victim. But science and everybody else is like, yeah, that's called Stockholm Syndrome. Like,
Yeah.
like she literally got thrown in a hole and was being tortured and shit. And so she's doing this to survive.
Yeah.
And then she's afraid now to tell anybody Because I'm sure he's threatening her, you know? Like if you tell somebody XYZ, whatever.
Yeah. I'll hurt you or
Yeah.
the other women or whatever.
Exactly. Okay, so she doesn't do anything, right? And he comes back and gets her and everything's fine, hunky-dory. But also...
Jesus, that sucks. That's
Yeah.
so scary.
I know. But in doing that, she earns a little bit more trust, right?
Yeah.
But still, not that you should do that. Fucking run. But you know.
Yeah, you earn a little bit more trust, but also that's a perfect opportunity to be like, hey, something's wrong.
Help.
Yeah.
But she doesn't do that because fucking shit is intense.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so later, obviously we know this because Josefina's gonna live, okay?
Yeah.
So later, Josefina goes on to explain that the abuse that Gary would inflict on the other women was so intense. And one of the things that he would do was he would gag them and then he would stick a screwdriver in their ear. And he would start off with a small screwdriver and then he would go to bigger and bigger ones.
Why?
Why do I always laugh at your reaction? Like,
Fucking gross.
I know. And then she said that she could see the women crying, but they couldn't, like, their screams were muffled because they were gagged, right? So then it was just like they couldn't really, like, yell and scream and everything, right? It was just kind of like,
Was he like popping their eardrum? Like, what is the fucking
I'm
point?
sure.
You're not touching their brain, right?
And then I'm thinking he did it, like, slowly. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't like it.
It makes me very uncomfortable.
I don't like it, and I don't want it.
Nope. One day in February, Sandy was eating bread and water. I guess it was her fucking ration for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And evidently she was eating too slowly for Gary's liking. And he was like, eat faster. And she wouldn't. And then so he ordered Josefina to hit Sandy like over and over again to like force her to eat faster. And so she does it and Sandy's not eating faster. And Gary gets pissed and he takes her hands, like her hands are shackled, and hangs her up on a loop so that she's like standing with her hands above her head.
Yeah.
And left her there for 3 days.
3 days?
3 days. On the third day, she went slack, like she was sleeping. And Gary kept saying that she was just playing and that she was fine. And he would like come up and smack her around and shit, but she was really dead. Isn't that terrible? Are you okay?
I don't like it.
No. It turns out that she had actually died from a combination of starvation, torture, fever, and ultimately suffocation because of having her arms above her head and then getting so fatigued that she passed out. It like blocked her airway and she suffocated because her head slumped forward.
Oh my God.
That's got to be the worst fucking way to die. Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's horrifying.
That is legit torture. So Gary later goes on to claim that he did not actually intend to kill her and that when she died, he was actually really upset. And all the other women said that he was pretty upset too when he was like carrying her up the stairs. But I say, fuck you.
Fuck you, yeah.
That's my opinion.
Ugh.
Oh, so Gary also is like, my intention wasn't to kill her, right? Like I just said. Instead, Gary says that his intention was to like show the other women that this is what happens when you disobey me. Like, you'll be tortured. Like,
And
you'll be
killed,
hung.
ultimately.
Yeah, but, like, I think he was not trying to convey the kill message. That's what he's saying, anyway. Not that I believe it or whatever, right? But that was what he's like, I didn't mean to kill her. This is what I was trying to accomplish. It was a really weird roundabout way for me to try to say that, but that's what he says. Everybody else is like, yeah, fuck you.
But this guy in particular.
Right? So Gary takes Sandy's body upstairs, and he uses an electric saw to chop her up. Every woman in that hole can hear what's happening.
An electric saw?
Yeah. To like chop her body up.
Bro, that's going to get clogged. That's not going to work.
I know. I don't understand how this works.
How many batteries do you have charged?
I don't even know, but I am curious as to like, can you just saw wet things? I didn't think you could. Maybe it's like a reciprocating saw?
Like a chainsaw? Maybe it's like one of those saws?
Like a jigsaw?
Is that, yeah.
That's like one of these.
I mean, they
Like a
go this way,
sawzall?
too. Yeah, that has teeth on this side.
Yeah. Sawzall.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sawzall.
Okay.
He said, okay.
I mean, it wouldn't get, like, the blade wouldn't matter if it got wet.
What if it got like... Yeah, but I think like
Yeah,
when
it
it
probably would do that.
retracts in...
But it doesn't retract all the way in. It just
Yeah, but like
retracts a
if you
little
get...
bit.
It just retracts enough, though. It gets in there. I don't know. I have some
Be
concerns.
careful with where you cut then, you know? Don't get too close to the blade.
I feel like if you're cutting up a body, you're not worried about your saw.
It's like when you're
getting mucked
painting.
up.
You don't put fucking paint on the hilt of the paintbrush. You put it on the tip.
Oh my God, my psycho kid does.
No.
Okay.
My kid doesn't. He's not allowed near art supplies.
Kid's
He
gonna be like,
undressed all of the crayons that he got. He would not color with them until he got all of the paper off. And I was like, bro.
it's your nightmare.
It is.
Okay, so he's got whatever saw he's using
Yeah.
and cuts her body up. And then all the women in the hole say that they start to smell a terrible rotting smell after 3 to 4 days.
Ew. Ew.
Yeah.
What did he do with it?
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Also, quick note before I tell you, the girl said that when Gary would come down to rape them, he would reek of rotting flesh. Like he was living in the decay.
That is
Bad.
horrifying.
Bad.
Like, not only
So
are
bad.
you getting raped,
Yeah.
because that's fucking
Blech.
shitty,
Yeah.
but it's like essentially by a dead person.
Oh
Be
my
like what a
God.
mummy would be.
Oh my God. Okay, so the smell actually got so bad that the neighbors started to notice and complain.
Good.
And they even confronted Gary. And he was like, I don't smell anything.
He's nose blind to it.
Yeah, you need some Febreze, bitch. And he was like, well, I've been cooking something, so maybe you just don't like the smell of my cooking. But the neighbors are like, no, bro, it smells like a body. Like it smells like a dead body. And so they call the cops.
Good.
And an officer comes by and knocks on the door for like 15 minutes. And of course, Gary doesn't answer.
But the cop is like, I can fucking smell something
Yeah,
bad.
it smells bad over here. It's getting worse at Gary's house.
Yeah.
And so he walks around the back and it smells like a million times worse. And he peeks in through the kitchen window and he sees a huge pot on the stove that is boiling over.
Ugh.
And it smells like rotting death and it smells like burning rotting death. And so he's about to call his supervisor to be like, yo, we've got a situation, right? And then bam, Gary opens the door. Boom. I like how you really gasped at bam, but he was literally just opening the door.
Oh, I was like, he got hit in the back of the head. He is now one of the girls.
Now, Gary just opens the door.
Okay.
And so the cop is like, oh, yo, Gary, I've been knocking for like 15 fucking minutes. What's going on? It smells awful in here, and it looks like you're boiling over on the stove.
Yeah.
And Gary was like, oh, shit, I'm cooking a roast, and I fell asleep, and I accidentally left the stove on. So my bad. Sorry about it. Later.
Yeah.
Right? And the cop's like, oh,
That's an awful
you
smelling
suck at
roast.
cooking. Yeah, that smells terrible.
What is that? Old Bay?
I love Obey. I said Obey. I
Old
love
Bay.
Old Bay. And some vinegar.
Got some Tonys?
And some blue crab. God damn. All right. So,
It's probably not what he had going on.
no, that's not at all what was in that pot because it turns out that
Was
it was.
the cop just like, can I see it?
No, the cop was just like, okay, bye.
That's weird. It smells like a dead body, but if you tell me it's a roast, I guess I'll believe
I'll
you.
leave you. Do you want to know what was in the pot?
Yeah.
It was Sandy's head.
Of course it was.
It was her fucking head. And in the oven, he had her ribs and like parts of her fucking hip bone.
Was it on?
Yes, he was cooking her.
Why later?
I don't know. Probably because it started to smell, and he's like, I gotta get rid of this shit. It smells really bad. Also, her arms and legs he put in the freezer, and he labeled them dog food. Fun fact.
Okay. Did he have dogs?
I don't know. Actually, that's a really good question. But essentially what he was doing was trying to like destroy all evidence of her body so that you couldn't identify her, right? Like
Yeah.
if you found these parts, you'd be like, I don't know who this is. Like he pulled her teeth out of her skull and shit like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, home dude is fucking sick. So now it's March 18th, and the girls are screaming in the hole, especially Debbie. And Gary comes down the stairs, and he hooks a hose up to the sink in the basement, and he starts to fill the hole with water.
Uh-oh.
As it's filling up, he plugs in an extension cord, and this extension cord has the wires all stripped back, right? So it's like a live fucking cord. And he starts to hold it to their chains that they're shackled to so that it shocks them. And obviously they start screaming. And because they're all being loud, right? So he's like, you guys need to be quiet. And when they're not quiet, he electrocutes them.
Yeah, but you know what's not going to make me more quiet?
Being electrocuted?
Yeah.
Yeah, or being shocked or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Exactly. Well, after a while, the other women stopped screaming because they were like, fuck, that hurts. Just make it stop. I don't want to do it anymore. But Debbie kept screaming and screaming. And so Gary pulled her out and forced Josephina to hold the cord to her chin, to Debbie's chin. And the goal, like he was like, hold it to her chin until she stopped screaming. And so she did, but Debbie just kept screaming. And so Gary got really fucking pissed. And he took the cord from her because, like, Josephina was putting it on her chin for, like, like zapping her or whatever.
Yeah.
And Gary got pissed, takes the cord from her, and just holds it to Debbie until she stopped screaming. But the reason she stopped screaming was because he killed her.
Yeah.
Like, he electrocuted her to death.
Oh, my God.
That's so fucking sad. So,
oh, that's awful.
right? So now Debbie has been murdered. And Gary forces Josephina to write a letter saying, quote, Gary Heidnick and Josephina Riviera electrocuted Deborah Dudley in the basement of 3520 North Marshall Street. And then,
so implicating herself.
Exactly.
along with-
Exactly. So he had her sign it, and then he signed it, and then he had one of the other women witness it at the
Bear
bottom.
witness.
Be a witness. And so Gary said that now he could trust Josephina because he had this like collateral on her, right?
Yeah, but also...
What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're torturing her too. So there's that.
Yeah, like that's not going to hold up in court. Oh, well, she signed this thing.
Yeah.
She definitely wasn't under any duress or anything.
Right? I definitely didn't force her.
Yeah. Don't look at those scars around her wrists and ankles.
Seriously. Actually, it's funny you say that because that is one of the things that the cops noticed that actually like got them to take her seriously.
Yeah.
Was that she had like scuffs, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's in the future. Okay, so Gary now trusts Josephina, right? So he takes her to go find a place to dump Debbie's body. Because he's like, we killed her together. Now we got to go fucking hide her together.
Okay.
And so they drive around and they end up somewhere in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, which is a few hours away from where he lives.
Mm-hmm.
And they pull off to some hidden little driveway or some shit. And they dump her body like deep into the pines so that it'll be hard to find her.
Okay.
On March 24th, Gary takes Josephina to go find some more girls for his little fucking harem or whatever.
Oh, my God.
Yes. Oh my God, it's really sad. And so he tells her that if she can help him get another girl, that she's allowed to contact her family. And so Josephina introduces him to her friend Agnes, and they go back to his house, and he has sex with her, and then he puts her in the hole just like the other women.
Fuck, man.
Right? And then Gary asked Josephina to introduce him to another girl, and she was like, okay, but this time I need to go get the girl on my own. Like, you can trust me. It's easier for me to get somebody to come here if it's just me and if you're not here.
Yeah.
And so he was like, okay, let's go to this gas station. Well, Josephina's like, okay, my friend lives like around this gas station or whatever. So drop me off. I'll walk. I'll pick her up and then I'll meet you back at the gas station. And Gary's like, great fucking idea. So he drops her off at the gas station,
Which is also by a police station.
which is actually right down the street from her house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's saying her friend's house is really her house.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she starts to walk away. And as soon as she's out of Gary's sight, she fucking books it to her house.
Good.
And when she gets there, her boyfriend answers the door. And her boyfriend's like, where the fuck have you been? And so she tells him everything that happened, and he doesn't fucking believe her.
What?
What a shit boyfriend.
Yeah.
What a shit boyfriend.
Like, okay, well, you're dumped.
Okay, well, you're getting the fuck out of my house, bro.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay, fuck you. And she goes down to the corner where there's a phone booth and she calls the police. And she's like, you're never going to guess what the fuck happened to me. Some shit went down. And so the police meet her at the phone booth and they see the markings on her arms and everything. And they're like, are you serious? Like, is this really going on? And she's like, yeah, he's at the fucking gas station right now. And he's got all these other women tied up. Like, you need to go get him.
Yeah.
Oh, before they roll up on Gary, Josephina also tells the cops that Gary had actually killed 2 women and that all the other women were in the basement, right? And he said that Josephina said that the first woman that he had murdered, he had cooked up and forced the other women to eat her remains. Like,
No.
she said that he mixed it with dog food and then forced them to eat that.
Oh, my God.
So there are so many different accounts that say that that's not true and that the reason that that rumor got out was because his defense attorney later comes forward saying, oh, I made that rumor up because I wanted to go for the insanity plea, and what's more insane than like eating people and shit, right? So like that was gonna further prove our case.
So you're just gonna fucking lie on the stand? Like how do you just
Yeah, he's a shady ass fucking lawyer.
How can you admit to that later and still have a job?
I don't know. But also this article I was reading came from like Josephina's words, so I don't really fucking know.
Yeah.
Either way, I wouldn't be fucking surprised because he cooked her up, so goddamn.
Yeah. But also you waited until she was like rotting before you started cooking her up. So like not only are you eating a person, but you're eating a rotten person.
Oh my God, it's like 20 times worse.
Yeah.
So the cops are like, say what? And they go to the gas station and they get old Gary boy.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, not me. And they were like, okay.
Actually, they pull up and they actually arrest him.
Good.
And so he's in fucking jail waiting fucking whatever the hell's going to happen, some questioning. And they go to his house, and when they pull up, they say that the house was sort of like intimidating because there were like all these bars on the windows, and he had this like big metal door, like security door and shit. It was like a fucking prison, right?
Yeah, a little Fort Knox.
Exactly. And when they get inside, the TV was blasting really loud so that it would cover the screams of the women down in the basement.
That's terrifying.
So terrifying. So they go down in the basement, and all the women are there, and they're chained up to a big metal pipe, and they're naked on a mattress together. So they're not in the hole, but they're like, you know, chained up, being held there.
Yeah.
And they start screaming like, we're saved, we're saved, we're saved. So they're so excited. And so they're trying to like release these women from their restraints, and they were so like tightened down and super glued down or whatever that they had to use bolt cutters. Like they had to go to the fire department and get bolt cutters so that they could get these shackles off of these women.
Oh my God.
So the cops were like, oh, by the way, Josephina mentioned that part of Sandy's body parts are in the freezer, right? Like he boiled the head and cooked the body or whatever, and that the legs and arms are in the freezer. And so one of the cops goes up and opens the freezer, and it was there. And he was like, I've been to enough autopsies to know that that was a human body. Like that's what I was looking at.
Ew.
So it literally validated everything Josephina had said.
Yeah.
Had like told them. So obviously he gets arrested and gets sent to trial. And Gary's like normally a pretty well-kept man, but his defense attorney, like I said, was trying to go for the insanity plea. So he had him dress all like crazy and shit and look very unkept, like his hair, like he looked like Charlie Manson almost, or Charles Manson. I don't know if I want to call him Charlie.
What is that, your buddy?
Ugh, get out of here. And so actually one of the neighbors who knew Gary had seen his defense attorney like poking around the house one day, and he was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like he looks all crazy now. And his defense attorney was like, yeah, I'm going for the insanity plea. Isn't it great? And she was like, he looks like Charles Manson. And he's like, yeah, that's the whole point. Like he was admitting to be like a fucking slam ball.
That's insane.
These women died, and you're like, I want to get insane. Like, I get it's his fucking job.
I get that it's his job, but also your job is just to present the truth.
Yeah. And also, I'm sure there's a level of insanity in there, but this motherfucker knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need to be in goddamn institution. And he also admitted to friends and shit that he had done this in the past to, like, you know, fake illnesses and shit.
Yeah.
Which, I know it's a touchy subject. I don't want to say he didn't have anything wrong with him, but homeboy knew what the fuck he was doing.
He was pretty fucked up, though.
Yeah, pretty fucked up. Okay, so anyway, like I was saying, he goes to trial, and it's a goddamn shit show and a circus, as you can imagine. The media is all over the place. Mm-hmm. But he was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder, and he was given the death sentence.
Good.
In prison, he got fucking beat up every day for what he had done.
Good. Fuck that guy.
Right? And he wanted to die. Like I said, he tried 13 times to commit suicide before he even ended up in prison. And so now he's like, fuck, I really don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And he actually tried to commit suicide in his cell by hanging himself, but it wasn't successful. He never tried to appeal his execution or anything because he wanted to die. He was like, yeah, execute me. I'm ready.
Let's go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was executed on July 3rd, 1999 by lethal injection. He was actually the last person to have been executed in Pennsylvania.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and some of his victims were there for the execution, and they stated that it was like very anticlimactic. They were like, I wanted to see him like suffering or apologize or something, but it was literally just a needle in his arm, and he didn't even make eye contact. Like,
it's fucked up.
I fucking know, man.
I understand the want to, like, be there and everything, because obviously, like, you got fucked up, and I understand them wanting to see him suffer and all that.
Yeah.
Like, that's gotta be pretty shitty, because you have this thing in your head where it's like, once he's dead, then I can fucking forgive or, like, let go or whatever.
Yeah.
But also, I'm a vindictive bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
Me too.
yeah, I wouldn't be okay
Like,
with
let
it.
me have an hour with that dude
Yeah.
chained up.
I don't know if I would want to see it just because of that, because you know it has to be humane and everything when you know that the girls that he killed wasn't humane.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up.
Can you imagine the fucking mental trauma that you would endure from having to live in a fucking pit in a basement with other women who you can't trust? Like, I'm sure you like still bond with each other and you kind of understand why somebody's doing that, but it's still like almost a competition, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want you to get me. Like, fuck
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he's pitting them all against each other. Like, that's so fucked up.
And to like be electrocuted. Oh, fuck that. Okay, so my last and final point, and the reason that this is so famous or well known, which by the way I did search, and not like a ton of huge podcasts have done this story, but it is kind of a more well known story, is it turns out that this crime is what inspired a lot of the Buffalo Bill. A lot of the characteristics of Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
I could see it. Yeah, pit in the fucking ground. And keeping people. That's fucked up.
would you fuck me?
I'd fuck me.
Anyway, there's also some other fucking, like, you know, pop cultural references, but I didn't write them down.
Yeah, well, I hadn't heard it, so that was new to me.
I actually hadn't either. And then I was like doing some Google image searches because I was like, what the fuck's wrong with his head? And
Forgot he had a fucked up head. Fuck
yeah,
that guy.
yeah, fuck your head. It's really just long. It's not even really that long.
Maybe it was flat and it was like lengthened out.
So I was doing Google searches and it had like a kind of sketched up image of the hole or some shit. And I was like, I want to see like real images of the hole. And I'm pretty sure it had a picture of the women when they were found, like on the mattress.
No.
And I was like, it seems a little personal.
Yeah.
And then I didn't look any further because I was frantically trying to research so we could crush 2 episodes in one day.
Whoop. I like how you're like, that looks a little personal. It's on the internet.
I know, but like they look so relieved and scared at the same time. And I'm just like, God damn.
That's
Who fucking took a picture at that moment? Like, click.
Yeah.
That's got to be a weird job.
Yeah.
Bust into a crime scene.
Well, goddamn.
Anyway, yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
Crazy
That's a
story.
fucking interesting one. I'm glad that most of them lived.
I know. I feel so bad, though. Like, that sucks. Sandy and Debbie got it rough.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
I'll pass. Hard pass.
Hard pass.
Anyway, so should we close it out and then do our little fucking bandana raffle?
Yeah.
Because this is the episode where we're going to do the fucking dog bandana raffle.
Yeah, so if you guys put a picture of your dapper dog tagged us on whatever social media thing.
She's crushing all of her words right now.
I'm doing all of them right now. We're gonna fucking raffle you off to get a perfectly curated box from your 2 favorite podcast hosts.
Indubitably. Which will basically consist of Aaron and I going through one store's, I don't know, maybe Target, maybe Walmart. We don't know. Maybe
We
the
don't
fucking
know.
grocery store.
How bougie you want to get?
Maybe it'll just be Amazon. We don't know, but we're going to put together a bunch of random shit that we enjoy and that we think that you will enjoy.
Yep.
Also,
So, stay tuned for that shit.
yeah, and if you win, not wind. I'm so tired.
Stacey's crushing all her words right now.
If you win, we'll be reaching out to you, or will you reach out to us? Because I'm not sure we have everybody's email. And
I mean, they tagged us on social media. We could be like, hey,
get at me, though.
yeah.
Because we need your shirt size. We'll give
Yep.
you some sweet ISGD merch.
But we'll let you know about that
Yeah,
if you win.
yeah.
Anyway, if you want to see pictures pertaining to this case, go to our website, isgdpodcast.com. We also have a link to merch. You can go support us, buy some merch. We have a link to Patreon. We now have a higher tier
$10.
with video of every fucking episode. And you will probably get those earlier than the regular podcast.
Indeed.
And you'll also get the Patreons, like the regular Patreons. And
Come
those
join
will
us.
also have video. Do that. It'll be fun.
We use that Patreon money just to make the show better.
Yeah.
So we need you
Yeah.
to
We
help
need a
us
new
make it
camera.
big in life. Oh my God, a new camera for sure. This camera is a little rough, but it's free. So what are we going to complain about?
I mean, yeah, you know. And we're on social media at ISGD Podcast. I'm like just digging in my fucking eye. This is all the stuff you can get on the video.
Wow, hot content.
I know.
Little teaser.
Oh, yeah.
Man, they could really see scratching your eye, huh?
Uh-huh.
Wow, who wouldn't want to miss that?
I know.
For $10? What a steal.
At ISGD Podcast. Nope. At ISGD Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You can email us at isgdpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
Or snail mail at P.O. Box 2764, Spring Valley, California, 91979.
Whoop, whoop.
Subscribe, rate, and review.
Please.
Deuces.
Also, not deuces yet because we're going to raffle.
I know.
Oh.
That was after.
Okay, bye in case you're not staying around.
Yeah.
But you should stay around.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Also, you guys should keep buying bandanas and shit for your dogs because those are my favorite fucking pictures.
I know, they're so fucking cute.
I love them. Okay.
Okay.
Brrr, I have to
my-
pee.
Don't worry, I'm a podcaster, not a serial killer. Mug.
It's like our official raffling mug.
It is our official raffling mug.
Maybe someday we'll have so many names we won't be able to do it in a mug.
Ooh, maybe.
Someday.
We also won't be able to have Alexis handwrite them.
We'll have to actually print shit out.
Karina Hampton! That shit's Karen!
Not our Karen.
I believe so, right?
Yes. Horace?
Horace, yeah.
You're like, what?
I thought you said Boris, and I was like, I don't know what that is.
Is that a beetroot?
Beetroot. Yeah, my little Horace. She's got the cutest little husky pup.
Karina.
Karina. You remind me of a West Side Story.
Ooh, I like it.
You won. See?
Congratulations.
Proof.
You won. It's your name. Thank you.
We appreciate you, motherfucker.
Thank you.
I'm really excited.
Get excited for the box. I know that's actually going to be really fun to put her box together.
I know.
She's going to be like, the fuck, ladies.
She's going to love it. You're going to love it.
Yeah, you're going to love it for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So,
Congratulations.
we know how to get in contact with her. So.
Yeah. We have her number.
Yeah.
Not really, but like it's very easy to reach out to her.
Yeah. We can get in contact with her, and we will need all of your information.
Indubitably.
Yeah. Appreciate you, motherfucker.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.